Hey, what's up everyone? I'm going to talk about several things for this video, and actually one particular topic, but several situations and scenarios. We're living in such a world that we just succumb to consistent surveillance, and the moment you start stating anything contrary to what's going on, they immediately put you in the category as a terrorist or a person who is a threat or an outside thinker. If you think differently than the common of society, then you must be a threat, right? And that's not the case. I'm nowhere near any of that. But it's frightening to see the direction in which society is going, which was also prophesied, and we already knew it was going that direction. But I'm going to give a scenario from example from yesterday. So you go through Walmart. They have no checkout line open, none. You can only go through the self checkout system. Many of them of which have done away with cash. The only one that accepts cash is one of them. Some of the stores, they have an area when you go in. Immediately when you walk in the door, there's cameras in your face. You've got a TV screen showing you, and it's got all of the information showing and it goes into the cloud. And if you don't, if you're not in the real ID system soon, you're barred from society. But here's the thing: you walk in the store and you're immediately bombarded with surveillance. Go in the parking lot, there's cameras all over you. Pull out of the parking lot, there's cameras on you. License plate readers read your license plate. Cops don't even practically look at you now because they don't have to. Their cameras do it. Their cameras record you on their vehicle, and their surveillance system. There's very few places that you can go that don't have a camera on you. There's a few, but there's very few. And you walk in the store, you walk out, you walk different directions. There's the big CCTV HD screen TVs looking at you. So you have to go through the self checkout. There's no other lines open. Now the guy that works there, he's really cool. He's nice. They're all really nice to me. They all immediately know me and speak when I walk in the door. The majority of them. That's the way people are most of the places that I go. But still, society is so monitored that it's creepy. It's completely, utterly creepy. So you go through the line, and I wait for the people, then I go up to the self checkout, start scanning the items, put them in the bag, and all this stuff, and then you look up and it's like there you are. It says smile, you're on camera, and it's got a little camera on you, a little screen that's about the size of a tablet, showing your face and showing you, and it says recording in progress, going to the cloud. You are going to the cloud. They're immediately into their servers and their database. Not only there, but then you look up, and on the other aisle, you can see that there's a big TV screen with a video of you on it, showing to the other cameras in the distance, and then there's you again over there in the distance, in a completely different area being shown. Multiple cameras showing you and all of the customers who are cavorting about, walking around, and the ones that are right there in line. So you scan your items and you continue, you do what you're doing, and they know all about you, they know everything. And as you're walking out, what really is annoying is someone will say, and now it's a guy who's being forced to do what you have to do, what he's being told to do. And he says, hey sir, hold on. And he'll say, may I see your receipt? And I'll go, sure, okay. I've asked before, like, how come you didn't, before in the past, I said, how come you didn't ask these other people that went through? I said, seems like customer profiling, if you ask me, discrimination. The other guy last time got really nervous and said, oh, no, well, we do this because if there's any items, we just have to do that. He got nervous and said, just go ahead, sir. Well, this guy is a veteran. He's new. He's a nice guy. He's a veteran. He's a war veteran. He's an elderly guy. And he came up to me and he stated, look, he said, well, we have to do that. We saw the Mountain Dews out. And he said, okay, I saw the Mountain Dews on the receipt. That's all I needed to know. When we see any items out, we saw one pack of Mountain Dews. I have 6 bottles, basically, the 6 bottles for $2.50 of Mountain Dews. And he saw that out on the cart. And he said, any items that are out, when the camera sees that, and then I have to run and check to make sure it's on your receipt. When the camera sees it, I have to do it, otherwise I'll be in trouble by the system. And I started thinking, man, dang. What a crazy, crazy system. When the camera sees that you've got an item out on the cart. Now, that hasn't happened before, but it happens early in the morning. Other times they don't care, but early in the morning when they start the door guards, that's when that happens. And he said when the camera sees it and then it sees one item out, I have to go check on you and I have to look and, look at the receipt and all that, just at least pretend or confirm that yeah, you get the point. And I said, okay. He said, it's not just you. You understand? It's not just you, bro. He said, it's not just you, man. Have a nice day. I mean, he stated, he said, they forced me to do it. It's my job. And then he started talking to this woman in front of me. When I went back in there, I forgot a couple of items. I had to go back. And he was a really nice guy. That wasn't the point. That wasn't the problem. And he told this woman in front of me, he said, what really kills me, he said, I was a veteran multiple years. I'm a veteran. He said, I was in the war for many, many years, fought for many years. And then I have to come home and I have to do this. And I still have to work just to make ends meet, which is wrong. And he said, then I have to do this. They stick me doing this. And he said, I have to do it or I'm just not, it's not legal. And he said, I have to check the receipts. And he said, they make me check receipts and some people get all mad at me. And he said, I'm like, look, I'm just doing my job. He said, they force me, if someone's got an item out on their cart, they force me, if it's not bagged, to go look at their receipt and confirm. Otherwise, the cameras will turn me in for not doing my job. And he said, that's what they force me to do. And we live in a society like a George Orwell society. It's only going to get worse. And then out of convenience, we bring these devices into our home and the smart TVs, the tablets, the phones, and the smart speakers, and they're listening, and then they watch us, and yada, yada, listen to the conversation, send out trigger keywords, right? And we just induct these things into our lives, adopt it into our lives without even considering the ramifications, and we just continue to allow them to continue to surveillance us. Now, to an extent, I get it, but then they take advantage of their position of authority. They're taking advantage of it. And out of convenience and security, we're giving up how much of our convenience, how much of our personal freedom are we going to give up for security and convenience, which has been stated for a very long time. And you walk down the road, you drive down the road, your license plate's monitored, your phone's tracking you, the location is being tracked, where you go, Google knows, the cell phone company knows, they share that information. It's being shared to multiple places, multiple servers, multiple companies. And you go in the store, you're being watched on camera like a hawk, you're being watched on surveillance. And then they have to check your receipt when you purchase the items. They still gotta hold up the line. Hold up this long line. They have to hold up this long line of people at the door to check your receipts of the items that you just bought. And it's like forcing us to agree to extra surveillance that we shouldn't have to even succumb to begin with. And then you've got this Real ID program, and there's people that live in a mobile home, that doesn't count. People that live in an RV, that doesn't count. They said they have to have some sort of permanent residence. Well, it's like a danged if you do, danged if you don't situation. They're requiring this Real ID and the Real ID system very, very soon. I think October is when it initiates. And if you don't have a cell phone number and if you don't have a home address, then they told them you're not considered a person under the system. And they said when you give the documented information, like a utility bill or whatever, you have to have a utility bill to show them. So basically you can have a cell phone bill. There you go. So if you don't have a cell phone, you're considered like a criminal. And they said it has to have a website, a www, which by the way, www in Jewish, the W in Jewish gematria is a 6, so that's like 666. But we're all in that. And then Google has that symbol, and they have the sigil of Satan, Baphomet colors, and all that that's going on. The Freemasons use the sigil of Satan. It's pretty much insane. I know I sound like I'm going on and rambling, but it's true. It's true. And you go in, and if you don't have your home address, you got to have an address. So you got to be in that system, and you got to show them a bill with a website, and that bill has to have from a company that has to have a website. But it just a few years ago, you could do things without the internet and a website. And there's positives and negatives of the internet and social media and all that. I get that. There's definitely positives and negatives. I've seen both sides of it myself. But when you're looking at this controlled society that we're witnessing today, when you're looking at this programmed, controlled society, it's a scary thought, and on top of what we are already trapped in, we're pretty much just trapping ourselves in something else within something else that we're already trapped in. And it's I wish there were a way we could just be free form, just be free of like this. It's restrictions and confines of human limitations. Just be free of what we're in now. But we're not there at the moment. And I suppose only God knows when. So, it's just creepy. You can't do anything without the almighty government, elites, and system, which is the beast system. Dale Gribble, by the way, mentioned that really well. Telling you what to do. You can't do something without them being in complete control of it. And you're a slave to their control. Now, I understand you've got to monitor to an extent, and you've got to have things under control a bit. Because without the society we're in, we'd be bartering, we'd be trading, and we have to have money to compensate for goods and services. I get that. Cash value, money value, a monetary system in order to trade for goods and services. Because without that, we would be bartering and we would be giving up something that we have in order to make up for something, in order to trade for something that we need. And a lot of times we would not get what we really needed, but we're getting messed over no matter what anyway still, but in a different way. I guess the lesser of two evils, I guess they'd say. Well, who knows, really. If we'd never gotten the system, we would have never really known. So what you don't know doesn't hurt you, I guess. But the point is, we're in a dangerous place, really. The way they do their control. It's like we're monitored and controlled every move we make, and there's no freedom. And that's not freedom when you lose the freedom to express yourself or move freely without control or monetization. But I understand to an extent because of all the stupidity that happens in today's society. You have to have control because of the stupid things that happen, the dumb things that take place, and the dangerous ramifications that come about certain advances we have today, certain things that happen. You have idiots out there that do really stupid things, and you have to have some control and some monetization, but they go too far to where it becomes a totalitarian situation. And it was really bad during the previous administration. It was awful. But I'm talking worldwide, on a worldwide scale, something else is going on to where there's too much control and just too much of a totalitarian situation taking place on a worldwide scale. And I'm not stating it's not this administration at all, because This administration has actually done more for the common people and for the people of the United States than any other I've known of and I've ever seen, especially the previous one, especially from the different from the previous one. But the companies and tech companies, tech giants, and the system as a whole is becoming too controlling, and we're heading in toward a dangerous situation if not contained. We've known it though. We've seen it prophesied. We knew it was happening. But here's the thing: the beginning of removal of freedom is already here. You move, you're monitored. You do something off, you're considered an outsider. You do something wrong, you're monitored. You do something strange or weird or off the wall, you're not in the norms of society. You're monitored on camera, and then they have to look at your receipt, even though you just purchased the items, you just went through the line, but they still have to hold up the entire line, and you walk through, and we just accept this. And he said he's being told what he has to do. He just has to do it. Otherwise, he loses his job, and he still has to work. Even though he was a veteran in the military, and he still has to work. And they're having him be a greeter and a person that looks at the receipts. Otherwise, the camera turns him in. Come on, folks. We're living in too monitored of a society. There's a difference between a monitoring of a certain degree and just going overboard. It's ridiculous. And then they have to look at the receipt, and then he said, "It's okay, buddy, you're okay." But still, it's ridiculous. And you've got all of these people who are just, you drive down the road, license plates on camera. I understand that because the vehicles, being stolen and all this rise in crime and things, but there's hardly a place you can go, and you feel weird when you're not being monitored anymore. There's hardly a place you can go without signal monitoring you or something telling where you're at, or just to get away, get off grid. There's hardly any place you can go to unplug, as the statement would go, without some sort of totalitarian system monitoring you. And I'm talking the worldwide system. Not the president. It's not this president. It's not the administration, because they've done more for the common people, speaking for the common people and stuff, than any other administration I know of. But it's the system. And it's frightening. Anyway, much love, peace. We knew this was happening. I saw it. I've been seeing it for a long time, but I just thought I'd talk about it. Peace and much love. I've got another video coming very soon regarding the same topic, but probably shorter. Signing out. I love you all.